everybody, Giselle Grenier here from artplace.ca. In the video for today, we're going to be using the background created from this book of backgrounds page. And what I want to do is I'm going to alter the color a little bit, create some butterflies leading out into a quote. I'm going to be using an Americana stencil. This is called Motivation. I'll be using Embrace Life and then use a die cut of an and symbol, Be Brave. So Embrace Life and Be Brave. On top of the die cut butterflies I have here, I've got some stamps I'm going to be using to kind of simulate butterflies, moths, these are moths in the background, and as we build it up. So I did some prep work ahead of time because it's really tedious. So these, you can use whatever you want. You can cut butterflies out of magazines, photographs, get die cuts at the art store, doesn't matter. I just use my scan and cut machine and just cut out some butterflies like this. And then what I used is the DecoArt Media white gesso with my number 8 Bristle Bright, and I just loaded the brush, and then all I did was pounce up and down, and I did both sides, and it creates a very rough texture on the butterfly. Let me show you. A very rough texture, and the paint will go on differently. It won't be a flat finish. Okay, and then I took one and I painted it blue, and then I did the same thing to show you that you can get a granite effect as well. All right, so that's that. And then I'm going to be using a permanent ink for the butterflies or the moths in the background because I don't want them to wash off. So put this aside. And I've got my colors out. I'm going to be using DecoArt Media Fluid Acrylics. And I'm using a very similar palette to what I did this in, except the purple. So Quinacridone Violet, Red, Magenta, then Titanium White. And the butterflies I'm going to be painting using a variety of blues. So Cobalt Blue Hue, Cobalt Teal Hue, Ultramarine Blue, and then Carbon Black. I may bring in some other colors. I don't know. And I initially was going to use the matte medium for the butterflies, but because this is so textured, okay, I want to make sure that it doesn't come off, I'm going to be using a glue gun. All right, let's play with this color first. So I'm working on my unstick arts and crafts sheet. I'm just going to put just a little bit of the red colors, red and violet colors. And I'm looking, at making this painting very vibrant. I'm not sure if I'm going to need white, so I'll just put a little bit out like that. Use a large, this is a 1-inch glazed brush. I'm just going to dampen it in some water. And the matte medium actually I may use to make the blues more transparent. So what I'm doing is I'm basically getting rid of a lot of the contrast. And alternating. Every time I reload the brush, I'm alternating. Pick up a little bit of white, make it softer. And you don't have to make this background. If you want, you can use whatever you want. I was even thinking about just going to the chalky finish paints. Because the butterflies have such movement in them, I didn't want it to be distracting. Now up here, what's on the back? Oh, I don't want to mess that up. On the top part, it's going to be the sentiment, the quote. So I gotta make sure that I leave plenty of room for that. And I can just keep overlapping this All I'm doing is I'm removing a lot of the visual texture. That's all I'm doing. So it's a little easier on the eyes. Lots of layers of paint. A little bit more white out there. I'm liking this soft look. I want to make sure that nothing sticks out too much, otherwise it'll interfere with what I'm trying to do. And some people ask me, well, why do you cover stuff up, and why don't you just do it like that in the beginning? Because this is a background, and the background is what's going to inspire you to create the art. On top of that, I wouldn't be able to get this look if I had not done the background in the first place. Oh, there goes chaos. So now with that being done, these blues are going to stand out a lot more, and the butterflies won't have to compete with all that background. All right, with that done, now I'm going to take a baby wipe, and in that baby wipe I'm going to squeeze out the excess. And let's wipe this up. I need to get into the habit of cleaning this after each project. I keep saying that I'm doing that, but I don't. So now with the baby wipe, I can come in and just remove just a little bit of paint. Not too much. It won't be as busy as the original, but I want a little bit of those. A little bit of distressing, not too much though. Now the good thing about this is that if it is too much, you can always paint it over again. By going in different directions, I'll hit just the edges. And I'm going to squeeze some more paint or liquid out of that. And I'm not going to bother getting another baby wipe, I'll just kind of rotate it. Sandpaper would also work quite nicely on this. A little bit of texture right there. And this I'm going to leave pretty fluid. I'm not going to remove too much here because the actual quote's going to be there. And I've got a Leonardo da Vinci stencil part down here. Okay. That's better. So now when these are going to be painted blue, it's going to be a little bit easier on the eyes. So I'm going to put that aside to dry for a bit. Let's come over here and let's start painting these. So I've got my ultramarine blue, cobalt blue, come on, and cobalt teal hue. And I'm going to start off with little number 12 shader and start with the dark color. And I'm going to be doing that. Well, no, that's black, so I'll leave that. So I'm going to paint all the butterflies first with the very, very dark cobalt blue hue. This is going to be messy. We're going to be doing this in layers. See, with the gesso, it picks up a lot of the texture. And one side of the cardboard is the shiny side, the other one is the actual cardboard side. I'm going to be painting both sides because if you're actually doing artwork, I'm going to show you how to make this three-dimensional. You could also use the number 8 Bristol Bright and just pounce the blue on top of here. I didn't want to do that. I'm also going to be stamping on top of the butterflies as well. Well, that's just a sample for texture. You can paint them with metallics. Doesn't matter in the least. Oh, I'm going to be short of, oh, there it is. I'm going to be short of butterfly. Okay. This is a very, very easy project. Okay, so we'll put that aside to dry. And I'm going to get a little brush and do this one here. Yeah, because I will be doing the quote in black, but I'm going to put some metallics on this probably. And just get the sides in there. You can spray this, you can whatever you want to do. Your favorite color, your favorite technique. If you're using just a cutout, that's fine. I'm just making sure I've got paint everywhere. Should have wore gloves. Oh well. Now, because these are all backgrounds, unless I'm willing to give up the back side of the artwork, these are just going to be bound into a book. There are some pieces though where I've made into actual art pieces where I've sacrificed the back of the page. And what I'm doing is that these are basically experiments of artwork that I'd like to try. And if they work out, then what I do is I just recreate the artwork more formally. Put that aside, get that other brush again. And I'll just paint the back side. Let's leave that up to dry. The more texture, the better. See all that? might as well paint the back as well. It won't show, but might as well make sure that everything's covered. There we go. Alrighty, I'm going to clean up and then we'll go on to the next step. And I'm going to go with the ultramarine blue. And I'm just going to work the outside. You can make these butterflies any color you want. We're also going to be shading the edges with black. Very similar to the technique that I use when shading my artist trading cards or anything I want to give a vintage edge to. It's the same technique, except we're going to use paint. You can choose which side you want to work on for your butterfly. I'm picking the more textured sides. If I had not gessoed these first, the paint would just get sucked right into the cardboard because this is very fluid. It would take forever to dry. All that noise you hear in the background is we are very, very windy outside. Just gonna put a little bit more here on this one. You can see with all the different ways that it's the paint is drying. And then this one here now, it looks like granite. It turned out really nice. All right. Whoopsie. And I'm going to dry these now. Okay, and let's go back to another little brush. That had black on it. Actually, I'm going to use this little baby one. And you can, again, you can choose how you want to do this. If you want to just work with dark butterflies, or if you want to have them light. I can go over the middle part because I'm going to be painting that black. And because these paints are semi-transparent, they flow into each other quite nicely. You just want to make sure that the paint is actually dry, the dark paint, and that you still have a nice contrast. So that color isn't what it's going to look like because it's semi-transparent. That's why I like layering the colors. You don't have to have full coverage on everything unless it's what you want. See? Because I'm going to do the edges in black. You can paint them purple. If you cut them out of a magazine, or if you just picked up like epoxy embellishments, that's fine. You don't even, you can just completely skip this step. can use pencils to color, doesn't matter. Now typically when I'm creating the art, I always assume the worst case scenario where it's going to be hung. Although this is just going in a book, I want to make sure that everything that I'm creating is moisture proof. So I won't use water soluble materials for this. Just going to go over with another coat. Again, just don't cover everything. This coat will be a little bit more opaque. Alrighty, so now we're done. I think we're all done with the paint. Let's see. Yeah, we're all done with the paint. And yes, I would normally use this into another journal page, but I want to save time. All right. So while those are drying, we'll come back here. And I'm just going to actually what I want to do. Let me dry these first because I just got an idea. Forgot to paint the centers. So I'm just using a little round brush. Painting the middle, then I'm just kind of fluffing out on the edge. Just to soften that up, which is like the little striations in the body. Okay. And also the edge. Don't know if I want to use a brush for that. Just darken the outside, which will really make them pop. Again, you don't have to do this. If you don't have cosmetic sponges, you can do this with a brush. It just takes a little bit longer. What you don't want is you don't want it to be perfect. This one won't take paint. There we go. So I work the outside first, make sure the edge is done. Then work inwards to get a rough edging around the outside. And if you angle the cosmetic sponge enough, you can also get a little bit on there. Just how you're holding it. And I'm working very, very quickly because the animal kingdom is going to be coming to visit me because it's going to be feeding time very, very soon. Now, the only place I realized that I didn't work on was the center. So I'll see if I can do that with a little brush. And if you bought these as embellishments at the store, epoxy stickers or you do magazine cutouts, you can omit this step. Joe told me I'm obsessed with butterflies. It's because they're so free. Okay, where's that baby brush? Nope, that's not going to do it. Let's try this one. There we go. So a little bristle brush. Yeah, it's not going to be perfect. This is a grungy piece, so you end up with something like that. Doing it on the table makes it a little bit easier. The bigger the easier. They're small, they're a lot harder to work with. This little guy is going to be hard. Actually, no, he's actually not too bad. You can use distress ink if you want. Just if you're going to do formal art that's going to be hung up on a wall. Keep in mind you want to make sure it's moisture proof. And distress inks are water soluble. There we go. And if you happen to put too much black on there, just come back with a little bit more blue. And let's clean up. I think I hear one of the animals coming up the stairs. Okay, now let's go back to this thing while these are drying. So look at the contrast now. I think it's a little bit too much black, and if you want to make them 3D, just fold them up and you're going to put them on like this. But yeah, that may be a little bit too much black. But either way, so now let's go here and what I want to do and I'll just that one didn't work. I'm trying to find the balance. There we go. That one will be fine. So just going to on the flat parts, I wanted to try to get something in here. I will be able to with the little baby one. These are kind of in the background. Let's put one here. The baby ones can actually go on top of these, just look like there's a pattern. And then if I take a big one and also do this off the page, so I can come in like that, or he's coming into the page. There you go. That's all I wanted to do on that. Put that away. And you can use whatever you, you can use whatever you want. These are just random stamps that I got on clearance. And now let's do a little bit of an assembly. I also want to recolor these because they're a little bit dark. but assemble them first before you decide. Look how bright they are. Whoa. Yeah, a little bit too much black. So to fix that, I'll just come in straight with the cobalt teal hue. And I'll come in with my round brush. And just where I find it to be a little bit dark, I'll bring this paint in. Now, because this paint is transparent, this is semi-transparent, you'll still see a little bit of the dark in the back, but it won't be as bad. Because I also wanted to stamp some black ink with some little circles on the butterfly. Now I'm not sure if I want to do that. See, by going over, it's still going to be dark because this paint is if you're using opaque paint, it wouldn't work. It's all about the layers. Ooh, I love that blue. Wow. When working with the transparent paints, you can get some really awesome effects. And working with a round brush just keeps the strokes more random. Some parts will have maybe 2 coats of this paint, some parts will only have 1. Making sure that the center, though, isn't, I don't put any of this over the black body. And what's going to make these butterflies pop is because I'm using the cobalt teal hue, which is slightly more on the green side. It's closer, it's opposites on the color wheel to the colors on the background, so they're naturally going to pop. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, there goes the furnace. Okay. Okay, I'm going to dry these. All right, so there, that's much better. Oops, this way. Much, much better. And then the statement's going to go here. So it's going to be embrace life, and then be brave here. So let's put these over here. And to color that, carbon black and cobalt blue hue, roughly equal parts. You can also make chromatic black with blue and brown. I usually use burnt sienna, and I'm running out of that, so I wanted to reserve that. So now this black won't be so flat. When you use just pure black, sometimes it's really, really flat looking. So right about here, take my little stencil brush. I think that brush had water in it. Oh, the hairs are coming out of it. Let me go to a different brush. Yeah, there was water in that brush. And if you don't get a clean stencil, then you can just paint over this. Wipe it down and paint over. As long as it doesn't cure, you're going to be fine. I'm going to check it. See, it's too much. See, too much water. So what can I do? Remove the excess. And then I can take a baby wipe and just wipe that. Okay, so let's dry that. Let's clean that stencil. So the water in the first brush totally ruined it. All right. Let's try this again. Really load the brush. And if you still find that the paint goes underneath, the paint is just too fluid, you can go to a thicker paint. Oh, I should have did modeling paste. Oh, the black modeling paste. That would have been perfect. Oh, that would have been so perfect. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, if the letters don't come out clear enough, then I may go to do that. Here we go. So it'll be Embrace Life, and it'll be Brave. Wonder if you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. That way you can see. Well, no, because it won't make sense. Sorry guys, I'll have to do it in another video. And I want it to be consistent. But that black modeling paste would look really cool. And be brave. So I'm just lining it up the same as it was up here. Where's my brush? Make sure your stencil brush is dry. Yeah, black modeling paste would have been really good. Then I was thinking I probably should have did the quote as Be Brave and Embrace Life. You don't have the stencil, you can handwrite it. You know the best thing? Print it on your computer. Just print it on your computer. And I'm going in circles because here there's a lot of that texture. Oh, that's a little bit too much paint. That's a little bit too much paint. There we go. Not as clean. There's a modeling paste part here. And it's the paint went underneath it. That's fine. There we go. Okay, do I need the black for anything else? Nope. Let's get rid of you. And when I'm in a hurry where I don't have time to totally clean the stencils, as long as chaos isn't in here, I'll put the stencil into a thing of water, or I'll just do this. That way the stencil doesn't have any time to dry. And those, put that aside, that way it'll stay wet. Put that over here. All right. And I forgot to turn on the glue gun. But while we're waiting for that, let's stamp little butterflies. And I just want to put a little bit of a pattern on them. Nothing fancy and nothing too strong. A little bit of a swirl. Okay. That one. And what else have I got? I've got these little cute little dots. So you can, the one I just did was this one. Now I'm going to do this one, but I'm not going to go everywhere. Okay. Oops, that goes here. And oh, this one here is cute. This I'm going to put on here though. I can align the butterflies and just do it like that. That way you kill two birds with one stone. There we go. Love it. Just take a little bit of pattern. You don't have to do that. Anything I'm showing you, you don't have to do. It's your artwork. I did it to create some additional interest. Now let's do a dry fit. I'm likely going to have to, I wanted to cut, oh, you know what? I don't have enough. I was thinking I wanted to have one coming off the page, but I won't have enough. If I put that up here. Leading right into the quote. There we go. So that's what I'm going to be going for. So with this, I wanted to cover that up. You can also have them, you can cut them and have them come into the paper. That would mean I would have to repaint another butterfly. I'm not going to worry about it. And I'm also thinking now, I'm also going to edge the page. So that's pretty good. So now I just have to wait for the heat gun to warm up. And the only reason why, again, as a reminder, I'm not using the matte medium is because of all this textured stuff. I would have to add so much. I can, you know, just put a little bit of glue here, and or if you wanted to make them 3D, you can just glue them like that. But this is going to be in a book, so I won't be able to. Alrighty. So the glue gun also will have them sit on top of the page a little bit. Okay, so that one's right there. So actually let me, so I'm just seeing exactly where the modeling paste is going. The modeling paste, the glue. So I can have it sticking up just a little bit. It'll end up going flat in when I have it in the book. See, that's what I'm talking about with it. Where it doesn't quite stick down. It looks like it's coming up. I could fold the little wings a little bit. This I actually could have glued with the matte medium because the page is flat. Can you hear her meowing? There we go. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. This one, the page is bent on this one. Oh, because of it's because there's something on the heavy sand, the texture sand on the back. Let's see if I can fudge this by forcing it. Yeah, there's a big hunk of sand on the back of this. There you go. All right, so now what I can turn around and do, I'm thinking, you know what? I don't want to use paint. Oh. Let's give this a little bit more glam. This is a wax metallic. Tie everything in together. You can do black first and then come in with a bit of the blue. I like putting colors around so they don't stick out so much. The blue is okay because the butterflies are blue and there's more than one. I've got the black around and the pink. Well, the pink is the only thing that's on the page. Whoopsie, look what I got. Oh, that's interesting. Look at that. That's not what I wanted. I'm gonna go back with the black. It's actually not too bad. Oh, this is gonna be too shiny now. Yeah, that's too shiny. Mind you, it's not bad. And you need to buff it. It actually looks like leather. You need to buff it and it makes it shinier, and it also makes it more permanent. Now if I wanted to come in with the black on the edge too, I can come in with that. It'll give it more of an aged look. And it will resemble more of the edges of the butterflies. Okay. I'm thinking I should have did this blue, but look, it looks like metal. I love this. Love this. All right, everything in water. Put this away. And that's it, you guys. This one is finished. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and I would love to see a picture of the artwork that you create. Please send it to me either by email or share it in the private Facebook group. Links to both of those can be found on my website at artplace.ca. And then you can also check out my blog where I have a whole bunch of other videos, including the video link to making this one, or you can just check out the description below. All right. So if you liked the video, give me some comments below what you thought, if you would have changed up some colors. I'm thinking now I would have liked to have made this a little bit lighter and not so red, but making mental notes now when I come to creating the formal artwork, I'll now know what to do, and that way I wouldn't have wasted a whole bunch of stuff in the process. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already so you don't miss anything, and give me a thumbs up if you like the video so I know to create more. Alrighty, so I'm going to clean up and I'm going to go and feed the animal safari that's downstairs making noise. And until I see you in my next video, stay inspired.